Before making this video on Rahul Gandhi, when I was just going through his life from various sources, I just came into one conclusion. I think very few people would love to be on his shoes because this person doesn't have a personal life of his own. Since his childhood, if he yawned also, maybe that would have become a news. This guy just doesn't have a privacy of his own. Coping with such a attention all the time is very difficult. It's easier said than done. After reading a lot about him, today I consider him as the atlas of his family, who is supposed to be supporting the pillars that held heaven and earth. Why I say that he is carrying a huge load on his shoulder? Just because of his lineage. Rahul is the grandson of the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi and the great grandson of India's first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and great grandmother Kamala Nehru, the Indian independence activist. Of course, his father Rajiv Gandhi also eventually became the Prime Minister of India. So our Atlas had to take all this burden on his shoulder all the time, though not directly, but indirectly he had to carry it. He has to be conscious all the time that he belongs to a great family. As I kept reading about Rahul, what I felt, there are four major incidents that happened in his life which has really shaped his life. Two are from the past, and of course rest are very recent. First was when his grandmother Mrs. Indira Gandhi was assassinated. He was 14 years old, and then his father Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated when he was 20 years old. Then his loss of Amethi seat to Smriti Irani in 2019 Lok Sabha election. And this one is a more recent incident. This is from Hathras, UP, where we can see Rahul and his sister Priyanka consoling the grieved family. These are the incidents that I guess have shaped or shaping him up as he is now. Time and again, Rahul Gandhi has shown that he is the most unpredictable politician in this Indian political system today. He always expresses his likes or dislikes to everybody without considering the mood of the nation. The way he is criticizing Mr. Modi and RSS all the time, maybe that is against the mood of the nation, but he doesn't care about that. He is the most unpredictable politician in today's Indian political scenario, that's for sure.
एक एक करके मैं आपके अंदर जो प्यार है उसको निकालूंगा और आप सबको कांग्रेस में बदलूंगा। धन्यवाद, नमस्कार।
No, this is not necessary. No. Nirmala ji.
Lot of people have said good, bad, ugly about that particular hug, but I think the best quote for this occasion would come from Abraham Lincoln, the way he has said, the best way to defeat an enemy is to make him a friend. Now coming back to Rahul's childhood, since there was a lot of security threat for the Gandhi family, so Rahul had to attend different schools at different times. He first studied in St. Columba's School in New Delhi and then shifted to Doon School, Uttarakhand in 1981. Rahul studied there for only 2 years, but after the assassination of Indira Gandhi in 1984, Rahul was homeschooled for a period of 5 years along with his sister Priyanka. In 1989, Rahul took admission in the St. Stephen's College of Delhi. He got 70%, and that year the cutoff percentage of St. Stephen's was 85. There was also a hue and cry about how could Rahul get admission in with 70%. A lot of people doesn't know that Rahul is a national level shooter. Rahul moved to Harvard University after he completed the first examinations. In 1991, after Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated by the LTTE during an election rally, he shifted to Rollins College in Florida, USA. During his time at Rollins, he assumed the pseudonym of Raul Vinci, and his identity was known only to the university officials and security agencies. He further went on to obtain an MPhil from Trinity College, Cambridge in 1995. After graduation, Rahul Gandhi worked at the Monitor Group, a management consultant firm in London, for 3 years. In 2002, he was one of the directors of Mumbai-based technology outsourcing firm Backup Services Private Limited. After his father's assassination, Rahul never wanted Sonia to enter into politics. He just detested politics like anything. Even in an interview here in one of the national dailies in India, Rahul has mentioned that how he felt free when he was abroad studying. There was complete freedom for him, which he never felt here in India because of security reasons. All this death in the family made Rahul think very ill about politics. So he never wanted to join politics. But eventually, when Sonia Gandhi had to join the Congress actively, so then Rahul started working as a AD of Sonia in rural campaigns and all. And in 2004, Rahul himself announced that he is going to join politics. So then, eventually, in 2004, he stood for this Lok Sabha elections, and he won from Amethi, and then he became a member of parliament, and he became active in Indian politics since 2004. So finally, how do we assess Rahul Gandhi? What is the dilemma of being Rahul Gandhi? As I see him, I think he is a totally detached soul. A person doesn't have to claim himself to be a fakir or a Sufi. Let others say that whether by looking at your conduct, whether you are a fakir or you are a Sufi. That way, I think Rahul is a detached soul. Whether he can take on Modi, whether he can fight him, he can fight the RSS or the BJP, that time will tell. But one thing is for sure, he is not at all afraid of his opponents, be it the BJP, be it the RSS, be it Mr. Narendra Modi or whatever. So now, finally, what can drive him? I don't think the present challenges from BJP or Mr. Modi or anybody can drive him that way. But yes, what can drive him is when he sees people are in distress. Now, if an incident like this Hathras that has happened, or this farm bill, or the migrant laborers, or for that matter NRC, if all these kind of challenges keeps coming where Rahul Gandhi sees that people are in distress, and then I guess he will take out his Gandhi and try to clean up the mess of Indian politics.